Hello, everybody.
Dun, da, da.
Dun, da, da. Hi, Brandon.
Hi, Nicolette.
So good to see you. Your body looks amazing.
You have a really pretty background.
Oh, thank you. When you come to Hungary, the end of the month, you should come and check it out.
I'm going to have to come and check it out.
Yeah. Where are you?
I am in Sopot in Poland.
Okay.
And today, for the first time ever, I got to see a beach that has no sand, only snow.
Wow. You should send us some pictures.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Wow. Yeah, Hungary is freezing. So get ready for your Hungarian trip because it's freezing.
Yeah. I'm doing my stretches. I'm doing my warm up here in Poland.
I believe that. I guess it's more cold than here.
I don't think so. You guys, it's freezing. No? What is going on in Europe?
We are experiencing the biggest snow in 13 years.
Wow.
Yeah, and the coldest weather. Yeah, it's really interesting. And I'm living in the forest, and my road has no other people in it, and just me. And it's like 300 meters, and we had to get 3 guys and shuffle the snow. I couldn't leave my house for 2 days.
Oh my God. Were you out there with the shovel?
I am not shoveling. People are shoveling.
See, it's okay to be a princess, people. You just got to know where your limitations are.
Exactly. Okay. Hello, everybody. Let me say something in Hungarian because we have many people and they want to listen to the Hungarian translation. So I will keep them posted. Szóval sziasztok mindenki! Ez a mai élő angolul történik, obviously, because Brandon doesn't speak Hungarian, szóval a Brandon nem beszél magyarul, ki tudja, még a végén megtanul, hogyha szeretnétek ezt a mai live-ot meghallgatni, a magyar tolmácsolással hallgatni, akkor ezt Zoomon keresztül fogjátok tudni megtenni, és Pagonyi Adri, ami csodálatos magyar tolmácsunk hangján hallgathatjátok ezt a mai beszélgetést. Mindjárt berakjuk nektek ide a linket a live alá, illetve sokan szerintem megkaptátok tőlünk e-mailen is, de mindjárt berakjuk ide a linket, és akkor úgy tudjátok hallgatni ezt a mai beszélgetést. A mai beszélgetésnek az a címe, hogy mi kellene ahhoz, hogy a kapcsolatod a testeddel, ez legyen a legnagyobb projekted 2026-ban. Okay. How? Brandon, what do you think? What would it take for your relationship with your body to be the biggest project in 2026?
Well, you know,
one of them actually, not the biggest, but one of them.
First tool off the, first tool to begin with is allowance, and allowance is, where it's not about what's the right body, what's the wrong body, what's the right thing to be, eating, what's the exercise thing I should be doing, what's the, all of that stuff. It's about, okay, allowing your body to actually guide you and show you what works for it. If you were willing to kind of get out of the way. Like I had this really interesting thing. So I had an unexpected trip to make to Australia over the holidays. My father passed away on Christmas Day. And,
wow.
So it was, okay, trip to Australia. And I knew I had all of these classes coming up and all of this travel, but I flew to Australia, and then I noticed a few days before leaving, because I had to fly from Australia to Poland, which is about 30 hours of travel, and then start this 3-day body class the next day. And I noticed myself going, oh my God, I'm not going to be able to do it. I'm going to be so tired, and I had all of these thoughts and doubts and all that, stuff running around in my head. And I was like, wait a minute, and I just started asking my body, okay, so what's it going to take for this to be easy? Can you show me how to take care of you and how to take care of myself with all of this? And I have never had an easier trip. It was amazing. And I was like, wow, I have not been asking my body anywhere close to enough for the contribution that I know it desires to give to me. And our bodies are like that. Our bodies desire to contribute to us. They desire to gift to us. They desire to show us how pleasurable and enjoyable living can be. But for most of us, we just haven't been taught to listen.
No. So funny because tomorrow is my birthday and I will be 40. Yeah.
39.
39. Yeah, exactly. And so I was going through my images from the past 40 years, right? Because my team asked me for some pictures so we can post them on social media and just give them some insight of my changes. And of course, my whole life has changed, especially in the past 10 years. But my relationship to my body, like as I relate to my body, is really different. And I just had my birthday in Italy. We went to the Castello di Casa Borgone. And so two things what happened there. It was really interesting. One is one of my friends, she basically created a book of our relationship. And I met her like 15 years ago. And ever since she picked a couple images of me and her, and she gifted to me on my birthday dinner. I was going through them, and when I saw my body like 15 years ago, and then 10 years ago, and then 5 years ago, and then just recently, it's not just how I look, because I look so much better than 15 years ago. I actually look younger than 15 years ago. But the thing was really interesting as I was looking at those pictures, I know how I felt at that time. Yeah. And I used to drink, I used to smoke, I used to not sleep and not taking care of my body, not even putting my body in the perspective of, like creating my life and then having a relationship with my body, or just, I had no tools. And then 10 years ago, exactly 10 years ago in 2016, I met András, who he's our friend. And I took my first class with him. And in that class, he was talking about bodies. And he said, like, you should ask your body. And I was like, ask your body? Like, are you crazy? Cuckoo? What's going on? And it made sense though. And that was the journey for me when I really started to change the relationship with my body. And I'm just so happy with it right now. And the other thing I wanted to share with you is I've been to the castle a couple of times. I took also your classes there, and actually Audrey was there also. And every time I go there, my body changes so much. I look so much better. I'm so much more relaxed, and my body starts to lose this water tension and just looks amazing. And the first day we arrived, I was tired of traveling, and then it was like a lot of, taking care of the group. It's 22 people, and I wanted everyone to have the best experience. So I was a little bit stressed. And then I woke up the next morning. I walked to the bathroom. I looked at myself at the mirror, and I was like, wow, my body looks so amazing. I was so happy with my body. And every time I go there, I experience the same thing. I arrive, I am, stressed and burned out and all the thing. And then the next morning I wake up and my body looks completely different just from the space. It's just so amazing.
And that place, that is a unique place. It's, talk about there's certain places in the world that just, certain places and certain things like the castle that just desires to gift to you. And you would look at that and go, how does that make any sense? How does a building gift to you? Well, when you're willing to receive, what if everything can gift to you? So we talked about, I remember years ago, I don't remember what class it was in, but Gary was talking about how everything has consciousness. So even the chair that you're sitting on right now has a consciousness of its own. And I was like, wow, that's interesting. And he would talk about how he would be like, so if you're sitting and it's uncomfortable, ask the chair what it would take for it to be more comfortable for your body. And I was like, wow, that's weird. And I started doing it and noticing different things show up. And it's like, and I do it now, even with flying on planes. What would it take for this plane to contribute to my body? And you know, some people might go, oh, that's just wacky. Okay, cool. You know, but it's like, but what if wacky is so much more your flavor? You know, and it's in the willingness to receive anything and everything is the willingness to get out of judgment. You know, what if truly everything could contribute to you?
What do you mean, Brendan?
Well, it's
Out of
like,
judgment.
well, I mean, gee, I don't know about you, but you know, you talked before about, you know, you were drinking and smoking, and I was doing all the same thing, but it was more the judgment that I had of myself with the drinking and smoking that was killing me, you know. And it's like, but we're taught that. You're taught how this is right, this is wrong. You know, you should eat, this is what you should eat, that's the right food. This is what you shouldn't, that's the wrong food. This is how much you should drink. This is how much you should, you know, exercise. This is how much you should do everything. But it sets you up for this constant state of looking for the right choice and the wrong choice, rather than what do you actually require? What do you desire? You know, and the thing that gets us with judgment is you can't receive anything that doesn't match it. You can't receive beyond what you've got a judgment of. So it stops us. Like I used to tell this joke in classes where I'd be like, do you ever look in the mirror and judge yourself for having a fat ass and your ass gets smaller?
No.
You know, it doesn't. And
No,
it's interesting because, but we see each other, we see ourselves through our judgments. We don't even see ourselves the way that we are. Like I've been with you many times where you're like, oh, I look like shit and I feel, and I'm like, who are you looking at?
Exactly.
You know, like, what are you looking at? You know, and it's like, but we do that to ourselves.
Yeah. I judged my body in my entire life. I had no relationship to my body. I had no one around me who actually liked their bodies.
Yeah.
So,
but also, how much were you taught that's what a relationship with your body is?
Yeah.
Judgment.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, and that's the, you know, one of my big part of my journey over the years is learning about having kindness for myself, because I didn't have any. You know, like I abused myself dynamically throughout my life, and it wasn't until I really desired something different that I started really looking at it and going, okay, what is kindness for me? You know, what is kindness for my body? You know, when you said before about you looked in the mirror, you got to the castle and you looked in the mirror and you're like, oh my goodness, look at me, I'm amazing. What if that was the way that we woke up every day?
That would be a different universe for sure. Yeah. Wow. I'm experiencing something really different. So I was talking to you. You've been to El Lugar, which is in Costa Rica, right? And I was talking to you, and you said that you were doing a 3-day water fast. And it's so interesting. I was like, that's interesting. You've been the third person who just told me. And also I was just scrolling on my Instagram, and the only thing would come to me would be like fasting, intermittent fasting, like 3-day body fast, like 3-day water fast, 2-day fast, 1-day fast, what it does to your body, autophagia, all these things. And there's like, that's so interesting. I should do that. And before that, I had this accident 10 years ago, and my joints are not all right sometimes. And it's, in the past couple of months, it took me, I couldn't walk the way I used to walk. And I was like, my doctor told me 10 years ago that I am lucky to be able to walk. And he told me, I think in like 10 years, Nicolette, it's not going to be that good for you, but like, let's see.
Yep.
And then it's been 10 years now, and And I realized I was experiencing something interesting. I woke up in the morning and it was like hard for me to get down to the kitchen on the stairs, and I was just walking like sideways because I couldn't just like step on the stairs. And I was like, huh, that's interesting. I should do a water fast. So I was like, you know what? Why not? So 1st of January, I started my water fast.
You did?
Oh yeah, for 4 days actually.
Uh-huh.
And I didn't do it from, oh, Brandon did it, I should do it, other people did it. I was like, oh, hey, buddy, this is what you want? That's why you're showing me this? And my buddy was like, yeah. So the cool thing was the first day was interesting. The second day was not easy, but I
Yeah.
started to realize something. The pain from my body was just, like less and less. And on the third day, my leg wasn't hurting. And I realized a fourth morning, I was running down the stairs. No pain, not an issue of walking. All of this inflammation were gone. I was happy, sharp. I had so much energy. And ever since, I'm so happy. And something really interesting happened. I think I let go of so many things during that 4-day fast,
Yeah.
that my perspective on things, on life, because I experienced this really interesting, I would say, depression from this word point of view, that I was depressed during Christmas time. And I was like, maybe because all people are unhappy and they hate their families and they have to do Christmas anyway. And maybe this is what was, and yeah, also, I guess, but it has, after my water fast, my body was just ready, happy, light, easy. It was like so amazing. And ever since, I'm just so happy. I'm just a completely different person. And it's just so interesting when you have this relationship with your body. When your body is happy, it's light, you're not abusing it, as I always did in my entire life, was just an amazing experience. And I'm so happy with my body right now.
Well, the thing I noticed is how present I got, and that's the thing, because, when we're not present with our body, we're not present in our lives. And then, so like you said, even the thing with feeling like you were depressed over Christmas is when you're not present with it, you've already aligned and agreed or resisted and reacted to it. So it already starts to become this fabric of what you have as your perception of reality. Like it's almost just like, I get that this is a lot of awareness, but I can't seem to have any ease with it. And what I've noticed with myself is when the not ease is there, there's always something that I'm avoiding. There's something that I'm avoiding being present with. But when you're present, you can actually, you can just navigate everything with such a different space. And I noticed that with me. I did that the first time, the water fast, I think it was a couple of years ago. And because I realized, I was like, wow, I am just not present anywhere close to the degree that I would like to be with my body, but also in my life. And it was that the first time I did it, I did 3 days the first time, and it was so uncomfortable, but I got so present. And then this second time that I just did, I think I did 4 days too, or maybe I think I did 4 or 5 days. But anyway, it was the same. It was just like the first 2 days, I was like, the first 2 days, it felt like, I was just disposing of unnecessary rubbish that I had been accumulating. And then my body was amazing, because there's so much misinformation out there. Like I was always told that, you need food for energy,
Yeah.
Without food, you have no energy. I have more energy without it.
Yeah. Same.
And then it's like, but science also says it takes 98% of the energy that you get from the food that you eat to digest it.
Yeah.
And you're like, what? And so I played with different things, like on the water fast, when I'd noticed myself, getting hungry or having those, familiar things come up, I would start pulling energy from the earth, earth. And I would just start pulling energy up, and I would notice my body energize. And it was like, wow, that's weird. You mean planes can contribute? Castles can contribute? The earth can contribute?
Exactly. I was so amazing because a couple of things happened also for me. One thing is I realized, because when I started to eat, I realized because I used to do, I have to eat 3 times a day. I have to have 120 grams of protein, and I have to do my macros, and I have to do like 80, like eat the same time every day, 8, 1, 7 p.m. And I was like sticking to it for years. And, sometimes it works. But like when it's not working anymore because your body changes all the time and it's
Yeah.
so different. And I just kept sticking to the plan. And my body was just so unhappy for so long. And when I started to eat again, I realized I'm not even hungry that much. And then the two things happened to me. One is I remember the first meal I had, it was bone broth.
Did it taste like the best thing you've ever put in your mouth?
It tasted so good.
Oh, I hear you, sister.
Oh my God, this food
Yeah.
is amazing. And then the second meal was bone broth, and I steamed some veggies. And I never had a carrot so tasty and sweet. And that was, it was so good. And then I started to do intermittent fasting because I was not hungry. And I realized that I would have the first meal at 12. And it took me so long to digest that I couldn't eat the next time. I was like, okay, I eat 2 times a day, and then I don't eat for 12 hours or 18 hours. But I realized my body knew what it wants. And it was just so cool because my body was showing me, it's like, I'm not hungry. I'm still digesting this stuff, and we have enough energy. Relax. It was
But
amazing.
you could also hear
Amazing.
it.
Yes.
You could hear it telling you that. And I want to make it clear also with the conversation, because I've talked about this on different things that I've been on, is we are by no means talking about go out there and get on a water fast.
No.
It's the point here is like, I know for myself and from what you've talked about is getting present with your body, and it's like, and that's the thing for me. Like it's, our bodies are a wonderful gift when we're willing to be with them. I saw, Facebook shows up those things of like photo here. It's a recap 13 years ago or whatever. And I'm like, my head was like this.
Mine too.
And it's like, and I looked older too, but it's like, but see, one of the beautiful things about Access is it's not only working on changing, giving up the points of view you have now, it's giving up the points of view that you bought 10 years ago from a doctor saying that you're not going to be able to walk.
Yeah.
And it's what else is possible if you could, change with total ease.
I thank you so much for pointing out, because I also wanted to do that it's not that we're talking about water fast, that anyone should do that. It made me to be more aware of my body, my life, including myself, what works for me, and everything got louder for me finally, because, I am so good at distracting myself with things, and I'm not listening. I'm not listening to me, my life, my body, and I'm just turning into autopilot and just do everything on autopilot. And this time it was just like, it was a really cool reset for me, and I don't feel like I need to do another water fast. It's more like, it showed me that my body is amazing. It knows what it wants. It knows what it needs, and it was just so cool. I'm so happy with my body right now. I'm just so grateful that I did it. Yeah. And the funny thing is, because I used to do water fasts a couple years back, but I didn't do it from choice as I did this time. I just heard it from someone and I was like, okay, I do it. And I forced myself into it. And it was
Yeah.
not cool.
No,
My
it's
body was not happy doing that.
yeah, totally. But it's not done from awareness or question. You know, like I when I was drinking, you know, back in my drinking days, I knew my body was dying. I knew I was killing it, you know, with alcohol. And I started getting really sick. Like towards the end of, you know, when I was drinking, I'd get sick every 3 days, you know, like, and not just, oh, I feel a little bit like I've got a bit of a hangover. Like I was getting violently ill. And I knew it, you know, I knew that I was killing my body. But the way that addiction works is you get so good at lying to yourself and you get so delusional in what you're choosing that you believe anything. And one of the things that I would do was I would do liver cleanses. You know, I would do, okay, so if I do a liver cleanse and then that will clean out my liver and then I can keep going on drinking.
Oh my God.
What? You know, and but it's also like, and people use whatever it is to hide from themselves what's actually going on. You know, what if it was okay to be honest with yourself about, okay, this is what I'm choosing, this is what it's creating. What's a different choice? You know, and I knew for me, I was just like, I look back on that and I'm like, wow.
Exactly. I had a conversation during my birthday with friends, and you know, as I was seeing those images, and my head was just this big all the time, and I looked tired and hangover all the time, every single day for many, many years. And I remember I had this point of view that I couldn't imagine myself not to drink every day. And I had this question in my head, like, how it's gonna be like in 10 years? Like, I can't do this to myself for longer than this. Because I just see the same for me. My body was really unhappy with me and wanted to die all the time because it was just not a contribution to it, what I was choosing.
Yeah.
And not just the drinking, by the way, because drinking made me make different choices than I would do now without it, you know?
Yeah, but isn't it interesting though that we have there's so many things that we have of you can't even fathom living without it until you stop choosing it.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what creates the comfort zones that we live in. Like I was the same. I remember, you know, when it got to a point where I knew that I either had to change or I didn't have long left, you know, and I remember hearing that the only way that I was going to change my, you know, addiction with alcohol was abstinence, completely stop. And I remember thinking, I think I would rather be dead, you know, because what happens when something triggers me? It was my safety net, you know, and I remember thinking, I can't, there's no way I'm going to be able to do this. And I look back on that now also, and I'm like, wow, you know, it's been the greatest gift of my life, you know, and I've learned more about myself without it in the last few years than I have, you know, my whole life. But, you know, I bring that up because there's so many things that we have, whether it be with regards to your body or anything in your life, that I could never live without this. Well, what if you could? You know, like I wonder how many lies we buy about what we've decided we can't live without.
Yeah.
That if you're willing to actually, you know, live without it, choose something different, would give you awareness of everything that's true for you.
True story. I saw my I wouldn't say all of my family, but most of my family were drinking when I was a kid. So that was like so normal to me. That was normal. That's how they handle things. Like my dad would come home from work around like 3 p.m. on the afternoon, and his first thing was like start drinking. And for me, that was like so comfortable. I knew that. but it was really uncomfortable and really unknown how to be without it and create your life from presence and just being present with everything you have. And it was so different. And it took me a while to get comfortable with that, and getting comfortable with the uncomfortableness that life gives you sometimes, and not dealing with stuff by destroying your body and just numb yourself.
Well, and there's so much power in that. You know, when you begin to have the space in your world to not have to run away from anything. You know, like when something comes up and you're like, wow, I have anxiety right now, or I'm really uncomfortable right now, or, I'm really stressed out. I don't know what to choose right now. And rather than have to do your way through it, which is what addiction's great with, it's a total, it's a total avoidance of being, and it's like, but when you can just be present with something and go, okay, cool. So this is what's showing up for me right now. What is this? What do I do with it? Can I change it? If so, how do I change it? And it's just that also has been such an interesting journey for me, because most of my life I felt like I was crawling in my skin. I just wanted to get away from myself. I was so uncomfortable with just being, just like, whatever I am right now is enough.
And I guess also your body, because so for me, since I was a kid, I remember my sister was always taller than I, so she always looked skinnier than I. And in my family, it was a thing that they were kind of like making comments on me. Oh, you are not skinny enough, or you are fat, you are this or that.
Oh, how kind.
Oh, how kind, isn't it? Right. And before I had tools, I would judge the shit out of myself and my body, especially my body. And so fixing my body was a huge thing for me. It was distracting me from creating my life, because I would say 50% of my universe was created around me wanting to get rid of my body, or either wanting to change my body. It was just never good enough, never beautiful enough, never something enough. And I hated my body. I was, like, I remember I was in high school and I thought I was fat, and I didn't eat for so many days that I started to vomit blood. And my teacher took me to the doctor and called my father, and my father was like, what do you do to yourself? I'm like, I'm not eating that. I am fat. And I wasn't. If I look at those pictures now, I'm like, I was just crazy. But it's so interesting, because I guess it's for many people, it's like your body is never good enough for you.
But you also weren't crazy. You're extremely aware.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is like, this is where, do you want me to tell you something funny?
Yeah.
So I went on a walk today, because this place is beautiful. I went on a walk and I found this beautiful church, and I walked into this church and I had this overwhelming desire to pray. I was like, wow, okay. And I went with it, and I got down at the front of the church. It was empty, and I started praying to consciousness, praying to the universe, and just randomly just letting things flow through me. And one of the things that I was asking for was that anyone who desires it has access to these tools. And with that being is, there is so many people in the world right now who are such beautiful creatures, like what you're talking about, walking around thinking, I'm fucking crazy. I'm crazy and I can't seem to get my life right, and I can't seem to get things to work, and I hate my body, and I can't seem to change this money shit, and I can't see, and it's like, and we've got all of these points of view that there's something dynamically wrong with you, and there isn't. You know, that there isn't. You have been trying to navigate your life with things that do not work for someone like you to navigate this world with. You know, and it's like, and that's the part where I'm like, man, I would just, like, even the tool of who does it belong to? You know, I remember when I first got that tool, when I started Access, and 15 years ago, and I got this tool of 98% of your thoughts, feelings, and emotions don't belong to you. You're just picking them up, you know, like you're like this psychic radio tower picking up all these, you know, everyone else's points of view and everything else that's going on. And I was like, oh my God, this explains my whole life. Because I remember when I was a kid, 5 years old, and I cried just all the time, you know, and I didn't know why. I was just fucking sad all the time. I was like, you know, and it was, but I realized that I was just so aware of the sadness that I was surrounded by, you know. And when you're someone like you, or someone like, you know, who has got this extreme sensitivity to the world, oftentimes with that is a lot of caring. You know, and so we have the idea that, okay, I've got this stuff coming up for me, or you're aware of what's going on in your family's world, or what's going on with the people around you. And when you have that level of caring, what we have been taught caring is you suffer alongside everybody else. What if that's one of the greatest lies we've ever bought? What if you know, if you're listening to this and you're like, holy shit, that sounds like my life, is what if you getting to space? What if you getting to lightness? What if you getting to joy, even if nobody else will, is the only thing that will allow anyone else to choose it? And that, hey, I'm not going to claim that that's an easy thing to choose, because for me, it hasn't been. It's been like, man, if somebody else is suffering, I should be suffering too.
Yeah. Wow. True story. Yeah, I actually do know. It's just so interesting, because when I started to take classes, I was always avoiding body classes, or doing anything with bodies. While from the very beginning, the first thing that started to change for me really quickly, it didn't change for a couple of years that much, but my relationship to my body, or how I am in my body and how my body feels all the time. Because when I started to ask the question, like, who does this belong to, I realized that all of the pain in my body, all the like this uncomfortable feeling being in my body, or just all of my judgments about my body wasn't even mine. So when I just realized that only one thing changed everything.
Yeah.
And I had the point of view that, oh yeah, you know, I can change my money situation, I can change my relationships, I can change how I relate to my family or to the world. But changing my body, I was like, that's a big black hole for me. And I was like, if one day I would be able to say, I changed my relationship to my body, that would be a miracle. And yeah, exactly. And I remember when I was taking classes, I always wanted to have a conversation. And when it came to, like, you know, body processes or different kind of tools with the body, I was avoiding it for so long, so long. And as you see, I became a 3-day body facilitator after 10 years. I was like, no, that's not for me. I can do joy of business. I love business. I can do being you, because who doesn't want to be themselves? And like ignoring the body thing and becoming a 3-day body facilitator, it takes you at the moment right now to do 67 3 hours body process class. And it was uncomfortable. Man, it was not easy for
That's
me.
201 hours. My God.
Yeah. And, you know, it was so cool because I was halfway through. I wanted to give up. I called you many times. I was like, I'm not doing this. I'm like, I don't know. It's killing me. It's changing my life. I don't like it. Everything falling apart. I don't know what's going on in here. And I was like, okay, I just kept going. And as we were like coming to the end of it, it started to become easier, lighter. And my body changed so much during this time that one time I was talking to a lady and she was like, did you have a facelift? And I'm like, what? I'm like, you mean a session? She's like, no, you actually had a facelift on your face because you look different. And I'm like, thank you. No facelift. It's just body processes.
Did you
Many
say,
of them.
I do these facelift sessions and they're really expensive?
And also, not just that my body changed, but as I changed, my life changed. Everything has changed. And it's just, it was a really cool experience for me.
It's miraculous.
It is.
You know, and it's like, and you change, you give up these points of view, you change, your world changes, people around you start changing. It's like, and I love that you're going to be a 3-day body facilitator.
Right?
Yeah. I mean,
me too.
And we have your first class coming up.
I have my first class coming up. I have to tell you guys this story. So for you, in order to become a 3-day body facilitator, you do all the body process classes, right? And then when you accomplish them, you have to do a class with an expert facilitator.
Yeah, like a really, 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 really expert facilitator.
Yeah, so I was talking to Brandon. I'm like, okay, let's do this. And he's like, okay, let's do this. Let's do this class. So we are having a class together here in Budapest, the end of January. If you want to come, you're welcome. And I'm actually super excited because, you know, I had many times when I was really unhappy, uncomfortable, struggling with myself, with my body. And I remember one time we were in Rome and I was hiding in my room, and you kind of had a sense that I'm hiding in my room. There is something going on. I was a Oompa Loompa at the time because I was full and my body just, it was so, I was so unhappy with my body. And Brandon was reaching out to me and he was like, hey, what's going on, girl? I'm like, I'm not leaving my room. I'm ordering room service and see you tomorrow in class. I'm not leaving the room. And you said something, it was so cool, which you mentioned in this call or this live. You said, hey, you know, when I'm experiencing something like that, I usually go, I have an allowance to my body or myself, and I have kindness to myself and my body. And I was like, oh, thank you so much for saying that. And it changed so much for me. And ever since, when I'm experiencing something either with my body or my life or both, I would go, okay, what would it take for me to have allowance with myself, my life, my body? And what would it take for me to be kind to me? Just be kind. Give me a break.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's like, and that's what I love about being a facilitator also, is because it's like we all do it. You know, like, you know, it's not like we're facilitating going, oh my God, I'm just this perfect specimen. No, I was an alcoholic for 42 years of my life. You know, I've struggled with addiction throughout my life. I've made stupid, shitty choices just like everybody else, but I've changed, you know, and that's the part that the world is starving for honesty, you know, and vulnerability and the courage for people to speak up and go, hey, look, we've all chosen shitty things, or we've all had this place where we've, you know, not known how to get through something, or when it comes to things with your body where, you know, for me, I had so much stuff on being a man. You know, I grew up with a really abusive father, and then a sexually abusive grandfather, and then a really gaslighting, abusive stepfather. You know, so the three men for the first 18 years of my life, I didn't want to be a man. You know, and then I was also living with people who didn't want me to be a man. And it was like, and I struggled with the idea of what it was to be a man, you know. So when it came to sex, relationships, being with my body, I had so much cognitive dissonance and I was stuck in so many things. And it was access, you know, and the tools that helped me with that. But there's so many of us with that. You know, you grow up with these twisted points of view about what it is that you should be, while also having an awareness of what it would be like to live as you know, and then the two don't seem to go together because you're trying to create yourself the way that you were taught to, but you're also having this desire and this yearning to be everything that you are. So it's like, I'm so grateful. Like when we have conversations like this, I'm so grateful for access being what it is. You know, consciousness includes everything, judges nothing. And it's an empowerment of you.
And can you share what we are going to do in the 3-day body class? What happens to a body? It's a body class, so it's not about really you and your life. It's about your body.
So we're doing that. So we got a 3-day body class coming up, okay, in Budapest. The prerequisite for it is a foundation class, okay. But guess what? I'm doing a foundation class there the weekend before, so you can check that out too. Just a little shameless plug there.
Yeah, it's also in Budapest. I mean,
it's also in Budapest.
Yeah. Yes.
But there's the 3-day body classes. It's 3 days of these hands-on energetic body processes. And, you know, so I just finished the one here in Poland yesterday, and I don't know why I still get surprised by it, but it's not really surprise. It's more just, it's such a beautiful acknowledgement of watching people come in, and it's kind of like, you know, this lack of space, this kind of just, you know, rigidity and lack of connection with bodies, you know. And then we start running these processes, and after 3 days, it's such a beautiful thing to watch people receive, you know. And it's like, and that's one of the big gifts of these body classes, is it's all about receiving. You know, when I remember coming along to Access, and the girl that did my bars session, she was like, bars is about getting you to receive. And I was like, so my point of view was, receiving is, what do I get? You know, that's not receiving. Receiving is you having no walls and barriers to anything. You actually being able to let everything contribute, you know, and it's just magical. I don't know what else to say.
I know what else to say, because I wanted to share with you guys something really amazing. So as I told you, right, I was always avoiding, I was never taking body classes until like 2020, before I believe I took my first 3-day body class especially before COVID, 2020. And then I don't really do anything about it long after. And I took another one, and then I took one with you in Prague.
I remember that
Right?
one.
Oh yeah, right? And I have to tell you, the biggest changes, I mean, I had so many changes in so many classes, but the biggest changes for me always came in a 3-day body class. And I remember that class in Prague when I was struggling with something for so many years, and I didn't know what it was. And I asked a question, and something that I was, you know, holding in my body, the energy of it, I couldn't remember cognitively with my mind, but my body remembered.
Yeah.
And in that body class, it was just time to let it out. And you asked me the right question in the right moment, and I teared into tears. And it was one of the most life-changing experience I have ever had.
It was beautiful, and I remember the moment where you just let me see it,
Yeah.
and see, because that's the other thing is, if you've had abuse and you've had whatever you've had in your life, it's like, the last thing you want to do is let somebody else see it. When you've got so much wrongness of yourself for something, or so much need to keep secrets and keep things hidden, the last thing you want to do is allow somebody to see it. But it's in that keeps us stuck in it, And I remember when you just kind of dropped your walls to it, and it was so beautiful I mean, for me, it's such an honor to be able to be there with you for that one. But it's just like, what if we had a world that was far more like that also, where we could contribute to each other like that, whether it be in a class or just, you're like, man, I got this stuff going on in my world right now. I'm not sure how to change it. And you know that you have the courage to change it, but you also know that there's other people in this world that will contribute to you having that.
Yeah. My life, because there was an abuse from my childhood, right? And just letting that out, like being present with it and just letting process from my body and my world.
Yeah.
It's not just that my body changed afterwards. It's never been the same ever since. I let go of that tension that I was carrying with me around, not knowing that I had that tension. And then letting that go changed my entire life afterwards.
Yeah.
Because I always had this sense of hiding. And people would tell me, like, why are you hiding? Or what are you hiding? And I was like, dude, what are you talking about? I'm not hiding. And I was like, I don't get why people would tell me this all the time. It was so annoying for so long. And in that class, I realized, oh my God, now I know I was hiding. And it was amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, it was, and it continues to be. And that's what I
Yeah.
love also is, for all of us, this is a journey. It's like each day brings with it more awareness, but that's what it should be. And that's the part that I'm interested in with, with more people having, access to these tools, or whatever it is that works for you, whatever it is that you're asking for and require, is that each day should be about getting greater. But that's, I don't talk to many people who have that point of view, where it's like, well, you live your life, and it's like, and things come, and it's like, but even when things come up, like each day gets greater because you don't have to run away from them. And then when each thing comes up, you get more awareness of you. And it's like, but shouldn't we live in that world where each day you get more of you? Each day you get greater. Each day you get more joyful and more access to you. But maybe I'm nuts. I don't know.
No, you're not. I
think I am.
In a good way. In a good way. And I'm sure, like, everyone, you guys are listening, that you can relate to all of this. And who doesn't want to have ease? Who doesn't want to have joy? Who doesn't want to experience, like having fun, or just having not like an easy life, but something where you have like super fun with everything. And
well, yeah, and it is just, it's not just an easy life. And that's the other thing also. And this is, this journey of self-awareness, going on the journey of, consciousness and being more conscious in your life. It's not easy by any means, but it can come with serious amounts of ease.
And it just, and just at the end of this conversation, can I just say one more thing? Because it's
Please.
just here in my head. like changing the relationship to my body and changing my body, like especially the energy of my body. My body contributes so much to my life. I change my money situation. I create my business with my body. I include it into my choices. And since I do, and I'm not separating from my body as I did in my entire life, it's included in my choices. I ask it about things, and just it's just off the charts. It's just a really different universe to live your life from. And maybe I'm nuts too saying this, but
You are.
If I look back at the 10 years that how I created my life, and since I'm including my body more and more into my choices, it's a really different experience. And it's amazing. It's beautiful. I'm so grateful to my body. My body is amazing.
Yeah, truly. And yes, please, more of that.
Yes, please.
Oh, and can I do one last shameless plug? As soon as you mentioned the word relationship, is on one of the evenings of our 3-day body class, I am doing a relationship. Are you sure you want one class, evening intro class? Anyone can come to that.
I'm going to be there. So come, guys. I will be a guest. Yeah.
But Simone Milicis and myself, we wrote a book many years ago called Relationship. Are you sure you want one? And I mean, I have so many people, talk to me about it and say, oh my God, I've used those tools in my relationship so much greater. So we were like, okay, let's turn this into an intro class as well. So this will be the first one, and I'll be doing it in Budapest.
Yes. It's a first day or second day, which is like 31.
Day 2, I think.
Day 2. Yeah, I'm seeing now. Yes. I think
is
day
it?
2.
You'll
it's on
find
the 31st. Out. Anyway, yes. And everyone is welcome to come. There is no prerequisites. It's like a 2-hour intro, kind of, with Brandon only, with Hungarian translation or any translation. If you guys want to come from all around the world, you're welcome in Budapest. And I would be super happy to have you with my team, because Budapest is beautiful, even in wintertime, and especially wintertime, because we have all these beautiful baths, so you can pamper your body. And we have the most beautiful restaurants and food, and Budapest is so amazing.
Yeah,
a couple of years ago, it changed so much. It's beautiful, fancy. Yeah, I'm happy. I'm so grateful. I'm living in this beautiful city. So come and see us in Budapest. And also, it's my very first class in English. So you can come and support me. And we're really not just looking for you guys that live in Hungary. Come from all over. Like,
come.
Come. And you can have a 2-week experience if you're going to take the foundation class.
Yep.
And then next week, you can take the 3-day body class with us, and you can also come to the relationship class. What an amazing...
Oh my God, what a smorgasbord of possibilities.
Exactly. And just one more thing. I took my first access class 10 years ago, and I never did something for so long. I was never sticking to something for so long because I got bored. It's just, it's like at some point, and it changes all the time. The tools are changing, some not, but many things, yes. And it's always an experience because there is always more. And that's why I'm so excited. And especially this time, I'm like, wow, there is always more. So if you want more, you want something different, and you want to have fun with yourself and your body, come.
Yeah, boom, there you go. There's your invite.
There's your invite. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Brandon, for having this conversation, and we can't wait to see you. When do you arrive?
I can't wait to see you, and it's always a gift to be with you. So thank you.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you guys so much. I'm not sure about the Hungarian translation, but I'm sure we're going to figure it out with my team, and we can have it on YouTube. Kitty is amazing, and Petra about this, so I think we're gonna have also the Hungarian translation on YouTube, so you can listen later on YouTube. So check in.
You need to tell them that in Hungarian.
The conversation today.
No, don't worry. This is This is mush in here.
No, you're not. We're good. So yeah, we're gonna take care of the rest. But if you want to listen again, or if you want to share with your friends because someone needs this information, you can share this live. You can find it on Facebook and also on YouTube. And you can tune in a couple of days and you will find the Hungarian translation also on YouTube. Thank you so much, everyone, to joining us. Thank you, Brandon, so much. I can't wait to see you.
Thank you, and thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Have a wonderful week.